Government exercises utmost caution in updating laws. Defence Ministry seeks extra allocation to face cyber threats. Hello and good evening. I'm Mohana Priya. Welcome to News on 2. The government is updating selected pieces of legislation with the aim of striking a balance between safeguarding the rights, interests and security of the country and basic human rights and the principles of justice the people desire. Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad said that as such, the government exercises utmost caution in amending or abolishing such laws. Speaking during Minister's question time in Dewan Rakyat, Tun Dr. Mahathir said this was necessary in order to strike a balance for the need of such laws to protect national security while ensuring it is not abused and used against innocent people. He listed the Sedition Act 1948, Prevention of Crime Act 1957, Printing Presses and Publications Act 1948, National Security Council Act 2016 and Security Offences Special Measures Act 2012 (SOSMA) as such laws are currently under review.
Dalam hal ini, pihak kerajaan melalui kementerian yang berkaitan dan dibantu oleh Jabatan Peguam Negara akan mengambil tindakan susulan yang mana berkaitan. Ini jelas menunjukkan bahawa kerajaan sebenarnya tidak mengabaikan janji-janji yang telah dibuat, malah mengambil tindakan untuk meneliti setiap peruntukan dalam undang-undang yang berkenaan secara terperinci sebelum sesuatu keputusan bagi meminda dan memansuhkan undang-undang tersebut dimuktamadkan.
He was replying to a question from Segamat MP Datuk Sri Dr. R. Santarakumar, who wanted to know the status of the amendment or abolition of certain acts regarded as draconian, as per the promise of the Pakatan Harapan in its election manifesto. Meanwhile, Tun Dr. Mahathir said that an individual should not be linked with terrorism arbitrarily, as it is important to identify their behaviour and activities carried out before confirming it. The Premier also said that it is important to differentiate light and serious offences.
Pihak kerajaan berpendapat bahawa undang-undang itu tidak lengkap kerana tidak membezakan antara perbuatan yang ringan dengan perbuatan yang berat. Umumnya di bawah undang-undang ini juga kita guna untuk tahan mereka yang terlibat dengan keganasan, umpamanya seperti melengkapi diri mereka dengan bom ataupun membuat perancangan untuk membunuh seseorang. Tetapi di masa yang sama ada juga bukti yang tidak begitu kuat, iaitu mereka cuma terperangkap mengambil gambar dengan orang yang kemudiannya dikenali sebagai seorang pengganas.
With regards to this, the Premier urged the Royal Malaysian Police to revise the necessary acts involved, such as the Security Offences Special Measures Act 2012 or SOSMA, to define more clearly what is considered a threat to national security. The Ministry of Defence, MINDEF, is seeking an additional allocation to face a new threat, namely cyber attack, as stated in the Defence White Paper. Its Minister Mohamed Sabu said the ministry endeavoured to obtain more funds and found that members of Parliament, including from the opposition, wanted the ministry to boost the acquisition of assets, specifically in facing the threat of cyber attacks.
Saya akan cuba dan pihak semua cabang akan cuba sebab saya tengok semua ahli parlimen masuk daripada pembangkang nak supaya Kementerian Pertahanan ini dipertingkatkan lagi.
Mohamed Sabu told a media conference after attending the monthly gathering of the Ministry of Defence at Auditorium Wisma Pertahanan in Kuala Lumpur. Yesterday, Mohamed Sabu tabled the KPP in Dewan Rakyat, which stipulated the National Defence Strategic Direction for the period 2021 to 2030 to protect the interests of Malaysia and to defend its sovereignty and territorial integrity. True to having the people's welfare at heart, Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Sri Dr. Wan Azizah Wan Ismail spent a good part of her 67th birthday today visiting and giving assurances to flood evacuees in Kelantan and Terengganu. Datuk Sri Dr. Wan Azizah, who is also Women, Family and Community Development Minister, also received a big surprise at the Relief Centre at Sekolah Kebangsaan Kamil 1 in Pasir Putih, Kelantan, where the relief workers brought out a birthday cake, sang the happy birthday song and held a doa selamat. The Deputy Premier had gone to the centre at 11:55 a.m. and spent some time greeting and meeting the flood evacuees who have been there for the past few days. The birthday cake was cut and distributed to the children at the relief centre. Earlier, Datuk Sri Dr. Wan Azizah visited the relief centre at the National High School in Rantau Panjang, arriving there at about 10 a.m. and was welcomed by Kelantan Pakatan Harapan Chairman and Chairman of the Kemubu Agriculture Development Authority, Senator Datuk Husam Musa. The Deputy Premier was given a briefing on the flood situation by Pasir Mas District Officer Nik Muhammad Noor Nik Ishak. She also distributed food kits to the evacuees, some of whom wished her happy birthday and received a smile in return. Health Minister Datuk Sri Dr. Zulkifli Ahmad will be having an audience with the Johor ruler tomorrow to make a submission on the fire issue that engulfed part of the Sultanah Aminah Hospital 3 years ago, which led to the deaths of 6 patients. Datuk Sri Dr. Zulkifli said he was aware of the Johor region Tunku Mahkota Tunku Ismail Ibni Sultan Ibrahim's visit to the hospital, and he was required to see Sultan Ibrahim Ibni Almarhum Sultan Iskandar tomorrow.
Able to share with him over what are our efforts and all those hiccups that we have, from 2016 and from the previous administration, and also from this administration, and what efforts have been, how much we have spent, whatnot. I'll be more than happy to menghadap Sultan untuk menyatakan, for me to make a submission to him.
He said this in a press conference after launching Mental Health Handbook aimed at enabling Malaysians to recognize the signs and symptoms of mental health issues and to seek professional help early. On Monday, Tunku Ismail expressed his disappointment over the federal government's lack of efforts in repairing the intensive care unit of HSA following the fire. Asked about the alleged legal suit that was brought by one of the victims' family members against the government over the case, Datuk Sri Dr. Zulkifli said he would not comment on the case since it is in court, but assured that the findings will be disclosed soon. The Women, Family and Community Development Ministry has set up a special project team to review, recommend changes and prepare a draft for amendments to the Persons with Disabilities Act 2008. Now, besides efforts to empower the group, the amendments intend to charge those who misuse the special facilities available for people with disabilities. Now, the draft's first reading is expected to be tabled at the Dewan Rakyat in December next year. According to its Deputy Minister, Hannah Yeoh, the SPT, comprising 25 members from various ministries and government departments, professional bodies and non-governmental organizations, also included academicians and individuals with knowledge and experience working with the disabled.
Untuk memastikan mereka menyediakan satu draft pindaan Akta OKU yang komprehensif. Dan dalam task force ini, SPT ini, mereka juga akan adakan kajian menyeluruh seluruh Malaysia untuk pastikan kita mendengar pandangan semua jenis OKU yang terlibat kerana mereka mempunyai feedback masing-masing lah.
The team would convene its meeting from January 2020 and has 6 months to come up with a comprehensive draft on amendments to the Persons with Disabilities Act. She said this during a program with disabled people in conjunction with the National Disability Day. Meanwhile, the ministry's Secretary-General, Dato' Junaidah Kamaruddin, said the Public Service Department would also be submitting a memorandum to the Cabinet to fine-tune ways to allow more disabled people to be absorbed into the public service. Coming up next, no electricity tariff surcharge for 7.4 million domestic consumers. Stay with us. Dr. Mahathir Mohamad says to keep up with the future workforce demands, workers are encouraged to equip themselves with the latest technical skills. He also said that the country will focus on emphasizing science, technology, engineering and mathematics or STEM learning and technical and vocational education and training or TVET as the main agenda of the education system to produce more technical professions. Elaborating further, Tun Dr. Mahathir said the modern nations has always emphasized STEM learning, TVET training to produce more technical professions.
Usaha kita bersama ini dapat memastikan kebergantungan terhadap tenaga kerja asing dalam bidang teknikal dapat dikawal dan dikurangkan.
The Premier said this in a recorded video speech played at the inaugural National Technical Profession Day celebration in Kuala Lumpur. He further noted that in advanced nations, the technical professions greatly contributed to nation building and Malaysia must work more aggressively to raise the technical professions in the country to a higher level to meet the challenges of Industrial Revolution 4.0. The approaches and methods used at technical and vocational education and training or TVET institutes should be restructured by introducing the best practices in management, formulation and program design and in the delivery of training. The Sultan of Perak, Sultan Nazrin Shah, said this could fortify the development of the best human capital in line with the challenges of technological changes, hike in global worker migration and global climate change. Sultan Nazrin said a focus must be given towards boosting the ability of independent learning with enhanced approach on problem-based learning, project-based learning and production-based learning.
Program-program TVET hendaklah memastikan para pelatih turut dilengkapkan dengan aspek-aspek soft skills atau kemahiran insaniah, merangkumi aspek-aspek kemahiran generik yang melibatkan elemen kognitif yang berkaitan dengan kemahiran bukan akademik seperti nilai positif, kepimpinan, kerjasama berpasukan, komunikasi dan pembelajaran berterusan.
Sultan Nazrin added that new types of technical jobs nowadays require specific skills and no longer academic degrees, which are general in nature. This, according to him, showed the tendency of demand for manpower by the industry currently no longer solely dependent on academic qualification. Sultan Nazrin said this in his speech at the launch of Skills Malaysia 2.0, Skills for All towards a new collar job at the Ipoh Industrial Training Institute. About 7.4 million domestic consumers would be exempted from paying electricity tariff surcharge, while non-domestic consumers would enjoy a surcharge reduction in the bill from 1st January until 30th June next year. However, Minister of Energy, Science, Technology, Environment and Climate Change, Yeo Bee Yin, reminded the consumers to always use electricity wisely so that they are not affected when the price of the energy increases in the future.
Untuk kategori pengguna domestik, sebanyak 62.95 juta daripada kumpulan wang industri elektrik akan digunakan untuk menampung surcharge ICPT supaya tiada surcharge akan dikenakan kepada pengguna domestik. Oleh itu, kadar efektif tarif elektrik akan dikekalkan, tidak akan meningkat pada kadar efektif asas iaitu 39.45 sen per kilojam. Ini adalah 18 bulan berturus-turus tiada peningkatan melalui surcharge dikenakan kepada pengguna elektrik domestik.
The commercial and industrial consumers would enjoy a surcharge reduction of 55 cent per kilowatt hour from 2 ringgit 55 cent per kilowatt hour. The surcharge on commercial and industrial users was reduced in light of lower fuel costs over the last 6 months. Yeo said this in response to Kota Melaka MP Khoo Poi Thiong's question during the Minister's question time at Dewan Rakyat today. Now, the three ministries involved in the discussions on the takeover of Plus Malaysia Berhad will issue a joint memorandum to the Cabinet this month on the future path of the country's biggest highway operator. Works Minister Barubian said the three ministries, Works, Finance and Economic Affairs, have met last week and will meet again soon, after which they will come up with a joint memorandum by mid-December.
Kita sudah mengadakan satu, saya dipahamkan satu meeting sudah diadakan dan mereka akan berjumpa lagi dan selepas itu sekiranya semua itu telah dibincangkan and there will be a joint MJM ya, memorandum Jemaah Menteri akan dibentangkan, akan diangkat kepada Jemaah Menteri dari keputusan ketiga-tiga kementerian ini.
He added, plus major shareholders Khazanah Nasional Berhad and Employees Provident Fund EPF would not be in the next meeting and they would only be summoned if the need arises. Baru was met at the National Technical Profession Day celebration in Kuala Lumpur. Meanwhile, he said that the ministry has received 5 offers in total, with 4 bidders from the private sector and also 1 proposal from Khazanah itself. Smoke haze from wildfires shrouds Sydney. Details after this. Malaysia recorded their first win of men's football in SEA Games 2019 after defeating Timor-Leste 4-0 at the Rizal Memorial Stadium in Manila, Philippines on Monday. Ong Kim Swee's side, looking for their first victory of the Southeast Asian Games, began the match on the offensive, and the Timor-Leste defence proved too easy to toil with for Harimau Muda. 5 minutes into the game, they were rewarded for their attacking intent with an own goal from Filomeno Junior da Costa, who tried to clear the danger inside the box but ended up lifting the ball over his own goalkeeper and into the goal. In the 35th minute, a low cross from Shami was only headed out as far as Malaysia striker Hadi Fayad, who took the chance with aplomb and doubled his side's advantage. Further defensive error handed Malaysia their third as Timor-Leste's Ximenez Mesquita chested down a Shami cross in his box, only for Faisal to fire a shot at goal which hit the inside of the right post and travelled the length of the goal to strike the left before Fayad tapped it in for his second of the night. A late 4th goal was added in the 81st minute when Johor Darul Takzim winger Akia Rashid was played through on goal, and the young Malaysia international fielded past the keeper from a tight angle to secure the win. With Monday's results, Malaysia, Cambodia and Philippines are now in a 3-way battle to secure the second knockout spot from Group A. With the trio having 4 points each, Malaysia face Cambodia, while Philippines face Timor-Leste in their final group stage games on 4th December. Earlier, Myanmar came from a goal behind to beat Cambodia 2-1 and seal their semi-final spot. Sin Sophanat put Cambodia ahead with an opportune strike from close range in the 21st minute. Myanmar pulled level through Luin Mo Ang when he swept home from inside the area. Myanmar's prolific scorer Ong Kaung Man then came on in the second half and scored the winner with just 3 minutes left in regulation time. Myanmar won 2-1 and have now 10 points from 4 matches and top Group A. Malaysian Silat exponent Zulfazli Zulfakar has beaten the Philippines' Alvin Campos in the Putra Class B category on the second day of the Puncak Silat competition at the 2019 Southeast Asian Games in Subic Bay today to advance to the next round. The presence of Deputy Youth and Sports Minister Stephen Sim Chi Keong and Deputy Chef de Mission Nurul Huda Abdullah had somewhat lifted Zulfazli's performance as he started the match aggressively to lead Campos from the first round. Zulfazli, who wore the blue belt, continued to outmaneuver Campos throughout the third round as he won the match with a score of 4-1. Meanwhile, the Silat competition this year was marked by yet another controversy today after national Silat exponent Mohammad Faisal Nasir was denied victory, even though the host nation's participant Dines Duman had committed a serious offence by kicking Mohammad Faisal's face while he was down on the mat. There was delayed response from the medical team on the sideline towards the incident as they inexplicably decided that Mohammad Faisal was able to continue the match, even though it was apparent that Mohammad Faisal was still lying on the ground in great pain. Nevertheless, the referee continued with the knockout count as he eventually awarded Duman with the win as Mohammad Faisal failed to recover in time. Mohammad Faisal was later carried out of the ring in a stretcher and sent to the hospital for treatment. And that concludes this evening's edition of News on 2. In our top story today, government exercises utmost caution in updating laws. News on 2 will be back at 12:30 tomorrow afternoon with more updates. Till then, I'm Mohana Priya. Thanks for watching.